Hey folks, welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we are going to start this episode on the Mendocino Coast of Northern California. So come along with us on this episode. Stay tuned. Now we're in the Westport-Union Landing State Beach, which has a number of campsites right here on the edge of the Pacific Ocean on a very remote stretch of the Northern California coast. We're just north of the tiny hamlet of Westport, population only about 300 people. As a matter of fact, the only town of any significance for a couple of hours in any direction is Fort Bragg. About 30 minutes south of here, that's a population of about 7,000 people. But there you'll find supermarkets and any stores for any stuff that you need for your trip. The one thing about this stretch of the California coast, and in fact most of the central coast in July and August, is you get this thick marine layer that settles in over the coast where the cold and moist air coming in off the Pacific meets the hot, drier air coming in off the land. It's been persistent. This is the most sun we've seen in 3 days. And that's something to keep in mind. You just need to understand that this is something you're going to deal with if you camp in this area in the summertime. It's also expensive. We're paying $35 a night for dry camping plus $10 for Patricia's vehicle. So we're actually paying $45 a night with virtually no amenities other than a pit toilet here. The state seems to be letting this campground go. I'm sure it's due to budgetary considerations, but also due to the fact that a lot of this coastline is eroding. About half the campsites are no longer usable because roads and infrastructure have actually fallen into the sea.
There are easier ways from the campground to the beach, but we opted for a steep ravine with a fixed rope to hang on to in order to access a secluded stretch where we could let the dogs run and swim without bothering anyone. this entire stretch of coastline south to Fort Bragg is no less stunning. And once again, we were treated to more wonderful wildlife viewing, this time 4 elk grazing beside the road. I dare say there are probably more elk than people around here. If you approach the Westport area from the north, be aware that California Highway 1 from Leggett is 23 miles of narrow, twisting road with little shoulder that will take the better part of an hour to traverse.
Now we have a decision to make today. We've been traveling along the coast ever since Whidbey Island, and I'm starting to think that it may be time to work our way inland. I'm really not anxious to tow the trailer through the Bay Area to get to the Central Coast. The only problem, it's awfully hot east of us. They're talking about 103 degrees in Sacramento tomorrow. I'd like to make a run for it, maybe get over to the western foothills of the Sierra where it'll be a few degrees cooler. Maybe find some boondocking opportunities. That's another thing. Kind of tired of being in campgrounds and RV parks. That's usually not our mode of camping. And along this stretch of coast, there really are no other options that we've found. So I think it's time to find some good boondocking. But at the same time, I'm hesitant to miss some areas like Monterey and Big Sur. So we have a decision to make.
Well, if you already read the title of this video, then you know what we decided. After enduring a hot night in Grass Valley, and heavy traffic and crazy drivers on I-80, we pressed on into the Sierras and found a wonderful boondocking site nestled deep in Tahoe National Forest, thanks to some beta from helpful rangers at the Truckee Ranger Station. This is the seclusion that we've been missing for so long. Only about 13 miles northeast of the charming four-season resort town of Truckee, and only a few more from the shoreline of North Lake Tahoe. Friends, we hope that you appreciate our dedication to our viewers, for I had to talk my way out of a $310 parking ticket just for pulling onto the shoulder with the engine running to get this shot for you. Disappointingly, during our entire visit, Lake Tahoe's stunning natural beauty was obscured by a thick, smoky haze from the Ferguson Fire burning west of Yosemite National Park.
So it felt so good to be back to boondocking. It's a shame about the smoke in Tahoe. The smoke is actually what kept us from going to Yosemite. We wanted to hit Yosemite on this trip, but with the smoke from the Ferguson Fire just inundating the Yosemite Valley, it's really not the time to go to Yosemite, unfortunately. And we really wanted to do a separate episode on Tahoe for you guys, but with the filming conditions, it just wasn't in the cards, even though we spent 4 nights here boondocking in the Tahoe National Forest. Now we're headed off to Virginia City, Nevada. If Virginia City sounds familiar, it's because the Comstock lode was the biggest silver strike ever. It's a preserved mining town. We're really looking forward to sharing that with you. So if you're not yet one of our grand adventurers, hit that subscribe button right now. Ring that notification bell so you get instant notification of every new video that we upload to Grand Adventure. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below. If you have any questions or feedback, we would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments section. And until next time, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you soon.